I'm recording on the laptop, and the photo booth has a nuclear 3-2-1 countdown. Can y'all hear me okay? Confirmation in the chat. We're almost going to get to do live stream soon. We're about 10 subscribers away. So, excited to do this. Psalm 43 to 45 today. It is day 208. So no New Testament today, because randomly throughout there are readings without New Testament. And moving right along in the Psalms. Let's pray. Oh, you also get a different angle of the vacuum today? 'Cause I know it's a popular guest.
Father Yahuwah, make me to speak your words. Make me to speak my heart. Make me to follow the desires of my heart. And have confidence in you that you are with me in the doing of. Father Yahweh, I love you so much. I know that you are perfect, and I strive to be the perfect expression of my heart. Father Yahweh, you are the being that has gotten me this far, and you can take me farther. Take all these people to the heights that you want them to live at, of clean hearts, sound minds, belief with their conscience, witness with their heart. I rebuke every spirit of anger, every spirit of jealousy, every spirit of hatred, every spirit of fear, every spirit of resentment, every spirit of denial, every spirit of deceit. I rebuke every spirit of lust. I rebuke every spirit of addiction. I rebuke every spirit of gluttony. I rebuke every spirit of slothfulness. Father, let all these people take the opportunities that you put before them and love them and let them live by your love. In the blood of Yeshua as HaMashiach, who without we would be dead, dead, dead. But because of we live, live, live. In Yeshua's name, amen.
Whew. Alright. Singing in a separate video. We are going to start. Psalm 43. Rule me rightly, O Elohim, and plead my cause against a nation without loving commitment. O deliver me from a man of deceit and unrighteousness. For you are the Elohim of my strength. Why have you rejected me? Why do I go mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? Send forth your light and your truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to your set-apart mountain and to your dwelling places, that I might come to the slaughter place of Elohim, to El, the joy of my delight, and praise you with the lyre. O Elohim, my Elohim, why are you depressed, O my being, and why are you restless within me? Wait for Elohim, for I shall yet thank him, the deliverance of my face and my Elohim. So, obviously David in the Psalms. Rule me rightly, O Elohim, and plead my cause. Job says that if he were here, Job 23:4, I would present my case before him and fill my mouth with proofs. And David is asking him to plead the cause for him. Which brings up a good point of intercession for the nation. We have... I keep hearing people say to pray for the nation. I do it now and again. I've done it before. I don't personally know what it stops as to what it interferes with as to the will of Elohim. And I remember talking about this another day. Plead my cause against a nation without loving commitment. Literally, is what it actually says. So he's having trouble leading the people at this point as I'm reading this. There's This is an issue today. This is an issue today because of lack of grace. The loving commitment is the ability to forgive and return to one who you don't fully believe in their actions of. And through the belief that Yeshua is HaMashiach. So if my neighbor was yelling at me the other day, and I had to stay steadfast in Yeshua and take the course of action that was necessary to search the heart with a light for hurt, right? So like, and know that I didn't do anything wrong, like, because I'm up in here in my house hanging out. And so he started yelling at me, and it was over a debt. And I said, why do you feel like you don't owe me what we've agreed upon? Not that I don't have debts, but this was a debt to me. And I said, so he's yelling at me, and I just had to keep asking. He's like, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. And I said, there's no interest on this debt. We've agreed on this. You've signed here. There's no falsehood about it. And so there's the communicative desire for the best interest of the other person. And that love has to be shown, and a lot of what Elohim does is heal our hearts that we may walk. I love the way Paul said this. Like, I actually don't know if there's a better, like, relationship with Elohim statement in the Torah, in the Bible. Romans 2:13. For not the hearers of the Torah are righteous in the sight of Elohim, but the doers of the Torah shall be declared right. For when nations who do not have the Torah by nature do what is in the Torah, although not having the Torah, they are a Torah to themselves, who show the work of the Torah written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and between themselves their thoughts accusing or even excusing, in the day when Elohim shall judge the secrets of men through Yeshua Messiah according to my good news. Yeah, so this confidence in the walk with him, that you do what is right by the Torah. I've not charged you interest. I take what I'm owed. We've agreed upon it. A workman is worth his hire. So know your rights. Boy, that's going to be my Torah slogan. Know your rights. Oh, deliver me from a man of deceit and unrighteousness. How would you do that? Righteousness. Send forth your light and your truth. Yeah, that's the cave example that I used. Seeking, we need Yahuwah, we need Yeshua as the light that we may be able to search out the deepest part of the issue and attack the root of the problem. Let them lead me, and let them bring me to your set-apart mountain and to your dwelling places. The mountain, the conquest, obviously probably a physical mountain too with Dawid, but the mountain, the conquest, the elevation, the success of walking in righteousness, led by your light and your truth. That I might come to the slaughter place of Elohim, to El, the joy of my delight, and praise you with the lyre. All the time they're singing with lyres. I think that the worship music is very underrated, because if they're playing music on stage that are about Jesus, if they're playing music about Jesus on a stage in a building that you call a church, that is not worship music. If they are giving their all, singing, drumming, strumming, keying, harping, lyring, whatever those instruments play, whatever the verb is there, if they're doing all that unto Elohim, that is worship, because it is an expression, a musical expression of dedication to Elohim. Just as this Bible reading is a dedication, an expression of dedication to Elohim. Every day, according to this plan, whatever it is, 2 chapters, 3 chapters, 4 chapters, however many chapters it is, we do this every day. We do a proverb of the day. We're singing the Psalms. These are expressions of dedication to Elohim. And so you really have to ask yourself, how do you express your dedication to Elohim? How do you show him your love? And the biggest way is to walk in righteousness daily. Walk blamelessly in all the commands of Yahuwah. Why are you depressed, O my being? David's still depressed, from Psalm 42, which was a great video. You should watch that. 38 and 39 are beautiful as well. And why are you restless within me? Wait for Elohim, for I shall yet thank him, the deliverance of my face and my Elohim. I shall yet thank him. Although I am feeling sad today, I know that what he brings me will be so joyful that I will thank him, And I thank Yah a lot, but I almost overdo it. I definitely overdo it, because, to what degree is he controlling everything? Is he really micromanaging everything? One of the freest, most, the times where I feel the least attacked is when I'm in this word. But if I don't read this, if I'm no, I can't do it today, I gotta do a double tomorrow, I am fucked up the next day. And I'm I wake up and I'm I need to read the word right fucking now. And it's just incredible how much the relationship with Elohim brings you peace, and the word brings you closer to him. Even if you are fucking up. And I would venture that a lot of these fucking, box checker Christians, they don't spend time in the word. And if they spent time in the word, they wouldn't be as much of a box checker. They'd be a lot more of a child of Elohim, a son or a daughter. Psalm 44. O Elohim, we have heard with our ears. Our fathers have related to us the work you did in their days, in the days of old. You drove out the nations with your hand, but them you planted. You afflicted peoples and sent them out. For not by their own sword did they possess the land, neither did their own arm save them. But it was your right hand and your arm and the light of your face, because you delighted in them. You yourself are my sovereign, O Elohim. Command deliverances for Jacob. Through you we push our enemies. Through your name we tread down those who rise up against us. For I do not trust in my bow, and my sword does not save me. For you have saved us from our enemies, and have put to shame those who hated us. In Elohim we shall boast all day long, and praise your name forever. Selah. Yet you have rejected us and put us to shame. And you do not go with us with our armies. You make us turn back from the adversary. And those who hate us have plundered us. You do not give us as sheep to be eaten, and you have scattered us among the nations. You sell your people for no value, and you have set no high price on them. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a mockery to those round about us. You make us a proverb among the nations, a shaking of the head among the peoples. My reproach is always before me, and the shame of my face has covered me, because of the voice of the slanderer and blasphemer, because of the enemy and avenger. All this has come upon us, but we have not forgotten you. Neither have we been false to your covenant. Our heart has not turned back, neither has our steps swerved from your way. Yet you have crushed us in the place of jackals, and covered us with the shadow of death. If we have forgotten the name of our Elohim, or stretched out our hands to a strange mighty one, would Elohim not search this out? For he knows the secrets of the heart, but for your sake we are killed all day long. Reckoned as sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why do you sleep, O Yahuwah? Arise. Do not reject us forever. Why do you conceal your face, ignoring our affliction and our oppression? For our being is bowed down to the dust, our body cleaves to the earth. Arise, be our help, and redeem us for your loving commitment's sake. There was a standalone video that I was supposed to cut out, so I had to write it down real quick. Because I want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this. I'm doing this. And so, also, I forgot to plug Stone Soup Ingredients. StoneSoupIngredients.com. Links in the description, and go get your famine preparedness needs, your rice, your beans, your wheat, your corn, your soap, your toothpaste, your marinara sauce, your Melba sauce, your pizza sauce, and tithe. Donate there as well to keep this relationship with the Creator Bible study going, because these ain't free. And so I gotta buy them. And I gotta give them out. So that's the responsibility of a man of Yah. Even if you get nothing from it, that's your job. I'm not saying don't hope you get something from it, but I'm saying you do it whether you do or don't. O Elohim, we have heard with our ears. You should do it whether you do or don't. Sometimes you're just not able to. But, O Elohim, we have heard with our ears. Our fathers have related to us the work you did in their days, in the days of old. You drove out the nations with your hand, but you planted them. This is obviously talking about the Exodus and all the people that were killed in the, like driving out the Hittites and the Uvites and the Jebusites and go back to Genesis 15:18. On the same day, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, I have given this land to your seed, from the river of Mitzrayim to the great river, the river Euphrates, with the Canaanite and the Kenizzite, and the Cadmonite and the Hittite and the Perizzite and the Rephaim and the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Girgashite and the Jebusite. And then let's see if we have this just stops recording. Like, how does this work? Do you not see that I'm doing photo booth? Like, wouldn't you think that this just keeps recording? Like, isn't that what a laptop should do? Actively compute? It's like, nah, I need a break. It's fucking 2020 products, man. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, while the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and along the banks of the Jordan. And Caleb silenced the people before Moshe and said, "Let us go up at once and take possession, for we are certainly able to overcome it." But the men who had gone up with him, this is Numbers 13:29, men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we." And they gave the children of Israel an evil report of the land which they had spied out, saying, The land through which we have gone as spies is a land eating up its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great size. And we saw there the Nephilim, sons of Anak, of the Nephilim. And we were like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so were we in their eyes. We're like, we're grasshoppers. What's the verse we're looking at here? Go to Deuteronomy 30. Maybe it's earlier. Deuteronomy is, I would say, one of the most important books in the Word. The most important book in the Word. Because it has all the major rules, all the major laws, the summary of the story of the goings-on, and the promises of Elohim. It has the, for better or worse, the promises of Elohim. How to treat your neighbor, the most vile sins, the festivals, the dietary laws. Deuteronomy 20, verse 16. Only of the cities of those people which Yahweh your Elohim gives you as an inheritance, you do not keep alive any that breathe. But you shall certainly put them under the ban, the Hittite and the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Perizzite and the Huite and the Jebusite, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you, lest they teach you to do according to all their abominations which they have done for their mighty ones, and you sin against Yahweh your Elohim. That is the big worry there. And so you don't want to do that. You want to just our fathers have related to us the work you did in those days. In the days of old you drove out the nations with your hand. Yup. Yeah. We read a lot of chronology on that. From the promise in Genesis to the basically the coming, like the awareness of the land, and then subsequently the instructions for the land. And so I suppose that we should read the I just don't know what to read about it because it's like Judges 1 just pretty much shows that I guess we'll start at Judges 1:17. Judges 1:16. And the children of the Canaanite father-in-law of Moshe went up from the city of palms with the children of Yehuda into the wilderness of Yehuda, which is in the Negab of Arad. And they went and dwelt among the people. And Yehuda went with Shimon his brother, and they struck the Canaanites who inhabited Shabbat and put it under the ban. So the name of the city was called Hormah. And Yehuda captured Azza and its border, and Eshkelon and its border, and Ekron and its border. And Yahuwah was with Yehuda, so they took possession of the mountains, but they were unable to drive out the inhabitants of the plain, because they had chariots of iron. Can y'all see? That is a close-up of the book, but this is how I'm reading, so fuck it. So I'm going to end up touching the trackpad. And they gave, verse 20, and they gave Hebron to Caleb as Moshe had said, and he drove out from there the 3 sons of Anak. This man's just, we just read in Numbers 14, this man slays giants by himself, and at 85 years old nonetheless, you can read earlier in the book. Or maybe it's in Joshua, but... However, the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites who inhabited Jerusalem. So the Jebusites have dwelt with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem to this day. And the house of Joseph also went up against Beth El, and Yahuwah was with them. And the house of Joseph sent men to spy out Beth El. Now the name of the city was formerly Luz. And the watchmen saw a man coming out of the city, and they said to him, "Please show us the entrance to the city, and we shall show you loving commitment." So he showed them the entrance to the city, and they struck the city with the edge of the sword. But the man and all his clan they let go. And the man went to the land of the Hittites and built a city, and called its name Luz, which is its name to this day. And Manasseh did not possess Beth Shean and its villages, nor Tanakh and its villages, nor the inhabitants of Dor and its villages, nor the inhabitants of Yiblaim and its villages, nor the inhabitants of Migo and its villages, for the Canaanites desired to dwell in that land. They just let them. And it came to be when Israel was strong that they put the Canaanites into compulsory labor, but did not completely drive them out. Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites who dwelt in Gezer, so the Canaanites dwelt in their midst in Gezer. Neither did Zebulun drive out the inhabitants of Kitron, or the inhabitants of Nahalal. So the Canaanites dwelt in their midst and became compulsory labor. Neither did Ashur drive out the inhabitants of Acco, nor the inhabitants of Sidon, nor of Alab, nor of Achzib, nor of Helba, nor of Hafik, nor of Rehob. So the Asherites dwelt in the midst of the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land, because they did not drive them out. Neither did Naphtali drive out the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh, nor the inhabitants of Bethania, but they dwelt among the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land. And the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh and of Bethania became compulsory labor for them. And the Amorites pressed the children of Dan into the mountains, for they would not allow them to go down to the valley. And the Amorites desired to dwell in Mount Herez in Ayalon and in Shalbim. But when the house of Joseph became stronger, they became compulsory labor. And the border of the Amorites was from the ascent of Akribam, from Selah and upward. And the messenger of Yahuwah came up from Gilgal to Bochum and said, I led you up from Mitzrayim and brought you to the land of which I swore to your fathers. And I said, I do not break my covenant with you. And as for you, do not make a covenant with the inhabitants of this land. Break down their slaughter places, but you have not obeyed my voice. What is this you have done? Therefore I also said, I am not driving them out before you, and they shall be adversaries to you, and their mighty ones shall become a snare to you. And it came to be when the messenger of Yahuwah spoke these words to all the children of Israel that the people lifted up their voice and wept. So they called the name of that place Bochim and slaughtered there to Yahuwah. Get the evil out of your midst. And kind of sad that we are unable to do this nowadays. Like literally, like not allowed to. You afflicted peoples and sent them out, for not by their own sword did they possess the land, neither did their own arm save them. Let's see if I can back this up a bit. But it was your right hand and your arm, and the light of your face, because you delighted in them. You yourself are a sovereign, O Elohim. Command deliverances for Jacob. Jeremiah 30, 31. 30 or 31. Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Oh, for great is that day, there is none like it, and it's the time of Jacob's distress, but he shall be saved out of it. It was your right hand and your arm and the light of your face, because you delighted in them. Moses' face shone. I think it's Exodus 35. Verse 29, and it came to be when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai, while the 2 tablets of the witness were in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mountain, that Moshe did not know that the skin of his face shone, since he had spoken with him. And Aaron and all the children of Israel looked at Moshe and saw the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him, because he's been dwelling with Yahweh, that light, that great, great light. But Moshe called out to them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned to him, and Moshe spoke to them. He's like, hey guys, don't leave me. Okay. All right. You yourself are my sovereign, O Elohim. Command deliverances for Jacob. You're chosen. The chosen of Yah. Through you we push our enemies. Through your name we tread down those who rise up against us. Let Yah fight the battles for us. For I do not trust in my bow, and my sword does not save me. David says this all up in 1 Samuel 17. You bring swords and spears and javelins, and I bring the name of Yahweh. I didn't say it quite like that. He says, but I come to you in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, whom you have reproached. I come to you in the name of Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, who is also Jacob, if you read Genesis 29, 27. Genesis 32. Genesis 32. Jacob, the original Jacob, his name gets changed to Israel. That's how you come up with Israel. I had a kid working for me whose name was Israel. He was a good kid. Tried to explain to him his name. He didn't get it. That's okay. It's funny because in Spanish they pronounce it Yisrael. And so it was like similar. It's like exactly how it's pronounced in Hebrew. In Elohim we shall boast all day long. No. For I do not trust in my bow, and my sword does not save me. For you have saved us from our enemies, and have put to shame those who hated us. In Elohim we shall boast all day long, and praise your name forever. Selah. Yet you have rejected us and put us to shame. And you do not go with our armies. You make us turn back from the adversary. and those who hate us have plundered us. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28. I will make you... I will make your enemies come against you 7 ways. And I will make your enemies come against you 1 way, and you will flee from them 7 ways. Deuteronomy 28:25. Yahweh causes you to be defeated before your enemies. These are threats, bro. We got to keep our shit together. Yet you have rejected us and put us to shame, and you do not go back with our armies. You make us turn back from the adversary, and those who hate us have plundered us. You do give us as sheep to be eaten, and you have scattered us among the nations. Dawid, we're gonna go to we're gonna hang a finger in Isaiah 53, but I want to finish this. You sell your people for no value and have set no high price on them. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a mockery to those round about us. You make us a proverb among the nations, a shaking of the head among the peoples. See where he's going with this. My reproach is always before me, and the shame of my head has covered me. Reproach, shame. Ezekiel, we see him shave his head. It's Ezekiel 3. And no, it's Ezekiel 5. I guess we'll just, all right. Let's hit up, in reference to 44:11, we're going to go to Isaiah 53:6. We all like sheep went astray. Each one of us has turned to his own way, and Yahweh has laid on him the crookedness of us all. Prophecy of Yeshua. Okay. And we're going to go to Ezekiel 5. And you, son of man, take a sharp sword, take it as a barber's razor, and you shall pass it over your head and your beard, and you shall take scales to weigh and divide the hair. Burn with fire 1/3 in the midst of the city when the days of the siege are completed. And you shall take 1/3 and strike around it with the sword, and scatter 1/3 in the wind, and I shall draw out a sword after them. And you shall take a few hairs from there, and bind them in the corners of your garment, and take again some of them, and throw them into the midst of the fire, and burn them in the fire. From it a fire shall spread unto all the house of Israel. Thus said the Master Yahweh, this is Jerusalem which I have set in the midst of the nations, with the other lands all around her. But she rebelled against my right rulings, doing wrong, more than the nations, and my laws more than the lands all around her. For they have rejected my right rulings, and they have not walked in my laws. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahweh, because you have rebelled more than the nations all around you, and have not walked in my laws, nor done my right rulings, nor even done according to the right rulings of the nations around you. They're not following anybody's laws. They're doing whatever the fuck they want. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahweh, look, I myself am against you, and shall execute judgments in your midst before the eyes of the nations. And I shall do among you what I have never done, and the like of which I never do again, because of all your abominations. Therefore, fathers are going to eat their sons in your midst, and sons eat their fathers. And I shall execute judgment among you, and scatter all your remnant to all the winds. Therefore, as I live, declares the Master Yahweh, because you have defiled my set-apart place with all your disgusting matters, and with all your abominations, therefore I also withdraw, and my eye shall not pardon, nor shall I spare. 1/3 of you shall die of pestilence, and be consumed with scarcity of food in your midst. And 1/3 shall fall by the sword all around you. And I shall scatter another third to all the winds, and draw out a sword after them. And my displeasure shall be completed, and I shall bring my wrath to rest upon them, and I shall be eased, and they shall know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken it in my ardor, when I have completed my wrath upon them. And I shall make you a waste and a reproach among the nations that are all around you, before the eyes of all who pass by. And it shall be a reproach, an object of scorn, a warning, and an astonishment to the nations that are all around you, when I execute judgment among you in displeasure, and in wrath, and in heated chastisement, I, Yahuwah, have spoken. When I send against them the evil arrows of scarcity of food, which shall be for their destruction, which I send to destroy you, I shall increase the scarcity of food upon you, and cut off your supply of bread. And I shall send against you scarcity of food and evil beasts, and they shall bereave you, and pestilence and blood shall pass through you, while I bring the sword against you. I, Yahuwah, have spoken. And so, bing, bang, boom, stonesoupingredients.com. That's what I have to say about that. You sell your people for no value, and have set no high price on them. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a mockery to those round about us. You make us a proverb among the nations, a shaking of the head among the peoples. My reproach is always before me. And so David likely just knows what will happen. Like he's read his Torah, he's got his copy of the Torah. The Torah that Hezekiah finds in 2 Chronicles is that of David and Solomon. To my knowledge, he's the only documented king who wrote the Torah. Wrote his copy of the Torah. Sorry, it's Hilkiyahu. And we're looking for maybe it's in Kings. 2 Kings. Okay, let's look this up. Not what I'm looking for. Let's try this again. Should be in 34. Ah, here we go. 35. It was right in front of my face. And Yoshiyahu performed a Pesach to Yahuwah in Jerusalem, and they slew the Pesach on the 14th day of the first new moon. And he set the priests in their duties and strengthened them for the service of the house of Yahuwah. And said to the Levites who were teaching all Yisrael, who were set apart to Yahuwah, put the set-apart ark in the house which Shlomo, son of Dawid, sovereign of Yisrael, built. It is no longer to be a burden on your shoulders. Now serve Yahuwah your Elohim and his people Yisrael, and prepare by the fathers' houses, according to your divisions, by the writing of Dawid, sovereign of Yisrael, and by the writing of Shlomo his son. And stand in the set-apart place by the divisions of the fathers' houses of your brothers, the lay people, and the portion of the fathers' house of the Levites. And prepare by the fathers' houses according to your divisions by the writing of Dawid, sovereign of Yisrael, and by the writing of Shlomo his son. So, this is the preparation and the divisions by Dawid. We know Dawid wasn't sitting there writing the book of Chronicles. And we know the Levites were. So it ain't them that it ain't, just genealogy that they're talking about there. They're talking about the written Torah, which was a requirement so that they know the Torah. Okay. Pull this back up. Let us continue on as we deem our our place at I don't even know how we got there. And the shame of my face has covered me, because the voice of the slanderer and the blasphemer, because of the enemy and avenger, all this has come upon us. But we have not forgotten you, neither have we been false to your covenant. David knows the covenant. Oh, because he knows all the... I was saying about how he knew the Torah, because he did know the Torah. He knew the blessings and curses of the Torah, because he wrote his copy of the Torah as he was instructed to, as every good king should have. And, there were the scribes and, whatever. Clearly, if they had to find the book of the Torah, they didn't have access to one, they were not writing the Torah. You think they were just like, some guy was standing there speaking it to him all day? Yeah, write this down. It sounds like a thing. Neither has our steps swerved from your way. Our heart has not turned back, neither has our steps swerved from your way. Yet you have crushed us in the place of jackals, and covered us with the shadow of death. Shadow of death, that darkness. Death, darkness. Blech. Gross, I rebuke it. Spirit of life, come upon this nation. Spirit of life. If we have forgotten the name of our Elohim, or stretched out our hands to a strange mighty one, would Elohim not search this out? For he knows the secret of the heart. But for your sake we are killed all day long. Reckoned as sheep for the slaughter. It's oddly specific quote. I'd love to know the timeline of David and Isaiah. I don't think that Isaiah comes on the scene quite yet, but I do know that he's in 2 Kings. 30th year, the 4th month. Oh, that's Ezekiel. Isaiah. The vision of Yeshayahu, son of Amitz, which he saw concerning Yehuda and Yerushalayim in the days of Uzziyahu, Yotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, sovereigns of Yehuda. So definitely not during David, and all these people are coming generations after David, so there's also possibility that not all the Psalms were written by David. Or David said it first. We don't know. We do not know. We do a little bit with the timeline as prophecy, but we do not quite know. Okay. For he knows the secrets of the heart. Yeah. It's one of the things that I'm praying for. Because if you think that you're going to live this perfect life for Yah, and you're not made that way, you're not mature enough for it, you're not ready for it, you're going to fail miserably. So you need to grow into it. You need to learn about it. You need to act upon it. Do it. Try it. Test it out. Fuck it up. Get back on the horse and do it again. And the heart condition is the willful obedience to truth. Luke 16, the The shrewd are... Luke 16:8, and the master praised the unrighteous manager because he had acted shrewdly, because the sons of this age are more shrewd in their generation than the sons of light. And I say to you, make friends for yourselves by unrighteous mammon, that when you fail, they shall receive you into everlasting shelters. He who is trustworthy in what is least is trustworthy also in much, and he who is unrighteous in what is least is unrighteous also in much. If therefore you have not been trustworthy in unrighteous mammon, who shall entrust you to the truth? To the true. And if you have not been trustworthy in what is another man's, who shall give you what is your own? No servant is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cling to the one and despise the other. You are not able to serve Elohim and mammon. That's also in Matthew 7. And the Pharisees who loved silver also heard all this and were sneering at him. So he said to them, you are those who declare yourselves righteous before men, but Elohim knows your hearts, because what is highly thought of among men is an abomination in the sight of Elohim. The Torah and the prophets are until Yohanan. Since then the reign of Elohim is being announced, and everyone is doing violence upon it. And it is easier for the heaven and the earth to pass away than for one tittle of the Torah to fall. Everyone putting away his wife and marrying another commits adultery. This is like that right in that Matthew 7 there. And everyone marrying her who is put away from her husband commits adultery. But there was a certain rich man who used to dress in purple and fine linen and live luxuriously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Eleazar, being covered with sores, who was placed at his gate, and longing to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Indeed, even the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to be that the beggar died, and was carried by the messengers to the bosom of Abraham. And the rich man also died and was buried. And while suffering tortures in Sheol, having lifted up his eyes, he saw Abraham far away and Eleazar in his bosom. And crying out, he said, Father Abraham, have compassion on me, and send Eleazar to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am suffering in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that in your life you received your good, and likewise Eleazar the evil. But now he is comforted and you are suffering. And besides all this, between us and you a great chasm has been set, so that those who wish to pass from here to you are unable, nor do those from there pass to us. And he said, Then I beg you, Father, that you would send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them, lest they also come to this place of torture. Abraham said to him, They have Moshe and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, No, Father Abraham, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they shall repent. But he said, If they do not hear Moshe and the prophets, neither would they be persuaded, even if one should rise from the dead. And this is interesting to hear Yeshua say, because this is his, yo, guys, check this out. When I was in heaven one time, I watched this thing happen. This is not a parable. This is a witnessing. This is really cool. Abraham is, they're doing what they got to be done, you know what I mean? But they ain't doing no funny stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Ain't going no back and forth. You know what I mean? Okay. Reckoned a sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why do you sleep, O Yahuwah? Arise. Do not reject us forever. Why do you conceal your face, ignoring our affliction and our oppression? We were talking about the secrets of the heart. Be shrewd if you got to be shrewd, but keep your heart clean and undefiled and pure. And you can do that and be shrewd, because you'll know that you're walking in righteousness. Because even if you're, say, let's just take a drug dealer. If you're selling drugs with honor. You're not shorting bags. You're not, ripping people off. You're giving your 10%. Yah's good with it. Cops might not be, but Yah's good with it. You're doing right. Ignoring our affliction and our oppression, for our being is bowed down to the dust, our body cleaves to the earth. Arise, be our help, and redeem us for your loving commitment's sake. Okay, I gotta turn the oven on. And let us. We actually might. We actually might just call it there. For 44. Take a quick fiber. Take a quick fiber tense. Nah, maybe we should not. What do we got here? 2 bars? 2 bars? I think we can do 2 bars. I don't want to call it a Dewey pile, but I guess I'll call it a Dewey pile. That's a delivery system out here. No, we're gonna 2-part this.